So for chicken noodles are very simple soup to make. We're going to do it just a little bit different. We're going to do it, we're going to slightly thicken it with a cornstarch slurry. Both of the soups that we're going to do this afternoon are going to be slurry soups. Soups that we slightly thicken with cornstarch slurry. So to do so, on the chicken, first thing we're going to do is get some butter. All of that's going to cook together.
Oh.
Remember, I want to cook the meat completely so I don't get bloodlet in the soup. So as this is coming up, it's coming to a boil. Lid on that. We'll do a lead time.
You're fine.
So while I'm waiting on that to happen, I'm going to make a cornstarch slurry. And all I do is put cold water, and I'm going to put a little bit of cornstarch in there.
How do we know which cornstarch?
It would be kind of a slurry. Usually you put parts of water in cornstarch, so you don't pour it all in at once. You add it slowly, just like you would the roux. Don't pour it all in at once. Then I may make it my sauce for the soup too thick. So I have to have boiling liquid for the cornstarch to thicken. So I add cold water and cornstarch together, and it's called a slurry. And then I have to have a boiling liquid to add that to it for it to thicken. It's not like a roux. I can't pour it in the beginning and expect it to thicken up because it won't ever thicken. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Pour it in boiling liquid. Trying not to brown it, but I do want to get the chicken done before I do it.
Yeah, part of the process.
Yes, you got to take a drink of water. Wet your whistle during the process. Wet your whistle.
Well, it's quiet. I have to do something.
So as your chicken starts to cook, you get to glaze your pan with a little white wine. A little bit of white wine and then that's starting to cook a little bit. The reason I cover these pans is to trap the steam in them, and that helps everything come to a boil quicker. You don't need to do that because you're not in any hurry. Does that make sense?
Yes,
I'm
sure.
demoing and I don't want y'all standing around all day, so that's what I do. So once my chicken is almost completely done, check that. Once this is almost completely done, I'm going to add my stock. Egg drop soup. The thing about egg drop, you have to add the cornstarch slurry to it before you add the eggs. It can't be a roaring boil once you add the eggs. You're going to slowly pour the eggs in, as I'll show you. Once you pour the eggs in an egg drop soup, you cannot whisk it anymore. Otherwise, you'll have egg flour soup, which is different than egg drop. Egg drop should have little droplets of cooked egg white. Egg flour is just a slaughtered instead of an egg. All whipped into it. We're not making egg flour, we're making egg drop. Okay? And so that's starting to come up to a boil. A lot of times you'll see chefs will add green peas to this at the end, just for color. So when you go through a lot gets stored into the egg drop. Traditionally, it does have a mirepoix in it. See, this is starting to come up to a simmer. Now the process is I'm going to let this simmer for a few minutes. I'm not going to for the demo, but you will let it simmer. Okay? You let it simmer, and you're not going to saute your vegetables because I don't want the oil in the egg drop soup. Does that make sense? Yes, sir. Stock, vegetables, white pepper.
We just cook it till the vegetables are done.
Simmer it until the vegetables are al dente. You still want them to be kind of crisp. One of the great things about Chinese food, it's so healthy for you because they don't overcook the vegetables. Everything's cooked very quickly, and it still has a lot of its nutritional value. If I cook a vegetable until it's soft, it doesn't have any nutritional value other than fiber. And all fiber is purposeful in the body is to bind the stool. Everyone understand what that means?
Yes.
Yeah, it binds the stool. That's what vegetables, the fiber of vegetables do is bind the stool. If I overcook a vegetable, then it has no nutritional value other than the fiber. The Chinese food is everything is cooked very, very quickly. So I still want everything to be al dente. All right, so I've got my cornstarch slurry. Now I'm just going to pour it into a boiling liquid. A little bit at a time. Remember, not pouring too much in there because if I get too much in there, then it's going to be too thick. See how that thickens that up? Gives it a nice glossy look. Everyone see that?
Yes, chef.
Alright, just a tiny bit more slurry to it. Alright, so I'll bring it to a boil. And while I'm doing that, I'll hear my chicken noodle is boiling. So I'm going to take a little slurry again. Gloss it up. See how that glosses up? And one of the main reasons for eating chicken noodle is to keep the noodles from flowing all the liquid. So if I add a thickener, then the noodles won't suck up all the liquid and be all noodles. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
One of the keys also is I never cook the noodles in the soup itself. When I cook a pasta or starch, it releases starch into whatever I'm cooking. I have a very starchy chicken noodle soup. So I always cook them really separate and then add them to it. So once thicken it up. See the process over here. This is coming to a boil. I'm going to reduce the heat on that. I'm going to take my egg whites. I'm just going to pour a little eggs out in specific areas. So I'm pouring out in specific areas. I'm not going to pour it all at once. Specific areas. So once I've added that, I can no longer whisk this dish. So stir that around to make sure it's done. I'm just going to take my rubber spat. I'm just going to kind of pour it across it like that to cook the egg. Everyone see that? You see how the egg is still whole?
Yes, chef.
That's egg drop soup. Okay, I'm going to adjust my salt and pepper to
Why
good
is
salt.
it so different than what's
Add a little salt and pepper. I do not want to let it boil from this point. I want to turn it off and then let my salt and pepper dissolve in it. But I'm not going to use a whisk to stir this around. If I use a whisk, I've messed it up. It's going to be egg flour and not egg drop. I'll show you kind of key when it comes to egg drop. Talking about egg drop, the eggs are still whole in some pieces. Everyone see that?
Yes, chef.
And that's egg drops.
So in restaurants, normally they don't have the vegetables. Do they strain it before they... Do you want to leave the vegetables in there?
Yes, I want the vegetables in there. It makes a really nice looking bowl of soup.
They put crab in it and they put mushroom.
Everyone see how that's supposed to look?
That sounds
I'm going to
good.
show you what not to do. If I take a whisk and I whisk this around afterwards, like so, that's what I did to the egg. That's egg flour soup. That's not egg drop, that's egg flour. We're trying to make egg drop soup, so now I'm jacking all up by using a whip and
I'll jump back, take a
you
picture.
can't do that. Well, you're gonna do it right, so you're gonna do it in yours.
What kind of pasta or noodles are you?
All right, we're gonna cook some fettuccine noodles, and here's the key. We have to chop those fettuccine noodles up. Nothing should be in a bowl of soup that won't fit on a spoon. Does that make sense? So
Yes,
when
sir.
you're making the soup, if it doesn't fit on a spoon, it shouldn't be in the soup. So if I'm gonna put a new potato in there, and that's too good for a soup. Does that make sense? When I got big chunks of stuff, what's it called?
Stew.
A stew. Very good. Very good.
That's because the noodles are garnished, right?
The noodles will be the garnish, but we're going to add this salt to the chicken noodle. Now I can use my whisk on the chicken noodle. I only want you to make a quart.
What's the texture going to be on that? Is it like nappe?
Yeah, it is nappe. We're done with it. So this. Now I whipped it all up. That's what I showed you what you don't want to do and why. Because it's going to mess your eggs up. You want the nice clean little pieces of egg in an egg drop soup. So you simmer this for about 15 minutes to remove the starchy flavor and then add your noodles to it. Does that make sense? So
Yes, sir.
here, as soon as it's done, turn it off and then ladle it into a bowl. Okay? Any questions about what we're going to do this afternoon?
No, sir.
Very simple stuff. We have time to get it done and then get the kitchen cleaned out right now. Yes, sir.